Aaron says, "Hey fellas, I'm a big fan of y'all's Spotify podcast. I was wondering what steps I can take to get my design ideas in motion. I have a certain brand name in my head for some t-shirts, some pre-workout, and various gym and fitness merchandise, but I do not know what steps to take. Also, asking the same questions for an invention design I have in my head. What are your thoughts?" Robert, what do you think?
Aaron, this is right in my wheelhouse. Great question. And it's really, the timing is fantastic. You live in the best era known to mankind in existence to be able to start your own brand right now. But I just want to give you a few ideas and a few things to consider. Number one, getting the website, getting the social media handles, all of that stuff, get those secured first. You want to find the URL for your brand so you make sure you have a really good website name. Then you want to associate that with your social media handles. This is important so you can go get a really good handle on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you need it. Those are very important, but then also looking at it from how do you build the brand? How do you start the designs? Super simple. Go to Fiverr, find a good person, sign a contract with them, and make sure you can either write it yourself or find a simple design contract online. You can get a template for free, have them sign it, give them your ideas, your sketches or whatever, have them do some preliminary drawings for you so you can see how you like them. And then one of the pro tips I would look at if I were you starting out is go open an account with one of the online brokerages like Broder or Heritage or SNS Activewear. Open one of those accounts so you get wholesale pricing. It's very easy to do. It's not scary. And then look at buying your own blanks and maybe using transfers just to get your first initial designs, placements on, samples ready so you can see what you like and what you don't like before you go place a big order. Because remember, if you go to a screen printing shop, most of them are going to have a minimum of 48 units. So if you have 5 designs or 4 design ideas to launch with, and you have to buy 48 of 4 or 5 designs, it's going to add up to a lot of money. But if you do screen printed transfers, you can buy those very inexpensively, use a heat press, and be able to put them on so you can get all your samples dialed in before you go spend a bunch of money. And then it all comes down to marketing. Study the competitors, study the big streetwear brands, understand what are they doing right. Are they doing a drop strategy? Are they doing a cold DM strategy to get eyeballs? What are they doing to get eyeballs on the product? Because merch always sounds fun, but it's not always the easiest thing to get launched because it's easy to get people to say they love it, but much harder to get them to actually pull the trigger and buy from you.
Robert, that breakdown was perfect. And if you don't want to use a template online, immediately where my head went was like ChatGPT, right? That's free. I'm sure you can say, yo, ChatGPT, you are now a wonderful lawyer. I need you to write me up something good for this relationship on Fiverr. But so my experience with any of this, I had a t-shirt company, I think it was like 13 or 14 years ago. I started it with $1,200 and Robert's completely correct on everything. I ended up using a friend who knew how to use Adobe Illustrator, which is essentially one of those like design softwares, and we were able to export the images, give it to a screen printer. We used one color per blank. We got the blanks from the manufacturers. I mean, I was all in on these shirts for like $11 and I'd sell them for 20. I mean, I'm in high school trying to just make a buck, right? So that's what it was for me. It is completely different now 12 years later, but I do want to encourage you to look at an example here. One of my friends, Hunter, is a model for this company called Squid Haus. SQUIDHAUS.com. And they are, you mentioned this pre-workout and various gym and fitness merchandise. They are a men's fitness wear company. Maybe you can get some inspiration from their website. Maybe you can get some inspiration from their social media. I know they've got some really successful ads that they're running right now on TikTok. They're making a killing with them. So there's a lot of cool things. And now to Robert's point on, you're living in 2025, right? We've got AI, we've got Fiverr, we've got heat presses and transfers. It's never been easier to start something like this. You just need to come out and say, okay, I'm willing to invest $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and try and bring this into something amazing. But the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to not reinvest all your profits back into inventory. That's a major mistake I made. Whenever I took, all these profits I made back in high school, I was like, oh, cool. I'm just going to go take this $800 and go buy a bunch more t-shirts and I'll sell those t-shirts and then take that. After you do that so much, you realize that everyone already has a t-shirt and they don't want to buy them anymore. And now you're sitting on like 82 t-shirts and they're in your basement and it doesn't make sense. And so now you lost the money. So my advice is every time you make a sale, even if it's like a t-shirt, of a pair of socks, a pre-workout, whatever you're trying to sell here, right? But every time you make a sale, set aside like 10% of your profit and put it in like a little piggy bank, right? Something where it's always going to grow and be there for the life of the company. So even if the company goes belly up or you have all this inventory, whatever happens, you can look over here and say, yeah, but I do have $4,000 over here sitting in my little thing that is my money and I didn't reinvest it or spend it or do stuff like that.
Yeah, and one last thing I would mention is two-part. TikTok Shops is your friend. So if you're going to do some fun, funky stuff, make sure you understand how to go viral or at least get some smaller influencers involved where you might have to give them a hoodie or a t-shirt or whatever it is. And then also take a look at Printify because they do everything for you if you just want to be in charge of creating the designs and doing the marketing and let them do all the printing and shipping for you. Printify is a great option as well. So just there's so many great tools out there. Do your homework, do your research, and good luck.